Gonna try to quickly give my reaction to the Everton 1, Aston Villa 1 match. Definitely was worried off of that Wolves game. What would our team look like coming in this one? And started out bright. But first, before I get into all that, let me just mention the lineup. I was very surprised not to see at least Beningame on the squad at least, and a Adeniran for that matter too. But they must be crap if or something else is going on behind the scenes if they're not even making the match of the day, squad. So whatever, that was a disappointment. And then just to see the same group out there from last week or last game didn't inspire a lot of confidence. So of course, we're all looking for a reaction. And I was just really worried that Jack Grealish and crew were just going to run rampant all over us, and because they're battling to stay afloat in the Premier League. And Everton started bright at first. It looked like, with Tom Davies and Gomez in the midfield, they looked like they were trying to, make something happen. They were trying to move forward. So for about 15 minutes, if that, Everton was trying to take it to Villa, which was the right approach. This is a team that has trouble, keeping goals out of the back of their net. And so it was right to get on the front foot at home. Not that home matters much in these games, and just take it to Villa. But slowly but surely, Villa worked their way into the game, and it didn't help that Holgate got hurt. And you could just see a drop a little bit in the pace of the game just with Holgate leaving. I think even though he's a center back, he does push the ball forward, back to the midfield quickly. I don't know how much that helps, but it just seemed like once he went out that our pace just slowed down a little bit. And Branthwaite came on to replace him. Branthwaite looks good to me. I mean, he's not as quick as Holgate, but he's big, and he made a couple good plays just defensively, Wasn't able to be shoved around off the ball. I think he got tired as the game wore on, but, he's still acclimating to the Premier League, and for his age, he's fine. I think he's going to be great for us. But anyway, back into the game as a whole, the first half, man, as Aston Villa just worked their way into it, we just looked more and more like we did in the Wolves game. And there's just something about, for the first time, I'm actually questioning whether or not we even know how to have movement in the midfield to support pushing the ball up the pitch. I'm a novice, as far as tactics go, but I'm starting to wonder, does it matter if we had Lionel Messi in the midfield? Would he be able to get the ball up the pitch? Because players just don't move. It just looks like it's like there's a square where there's the two center backs and then the two midfielders just pass it, bing, 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 to each other. And when the midfielders look up, there's nobody for them to get the ball to. I don't know what that is, man. That's just my greenness as a soccer fan. I don't know, but I'm starting to worry that it doesn't matter who you put in there, and we wouldn't be able to move the ball through the middle of the field. And that kind of maybe falls more on the tactics. I ain't trying to call Ancelotti out. I just don't know how you fix that. Anyway, that was hurting us. And as bad as our midfield looked, Aston Villa's midfield was just looking great. Jack Grealish was getting on the ball, McGinn, whoever. They were just moving it up. They weren't really getting a whole lot of chances in that first half, but they were at least looking promising. Every time they were coming through the midfield, I was getting nervous. So, what else? Yeah, first half ends 0-0. Second half begins, no changes. Aston Villa jumps right on us. Eventually, I'm going to fast forward a lot, but eventually, they do get a goal. I think it was just off of a set piece or something like that, which, as much as they were getting the ball, they deserved it. We weren't really doing anything to challenge them, to make them honor our offensive threat. The two forwards were just isolated up top. They weren't getting the ball. Bernard was misplacing passes. I think Gomez was having some trouble with passes. Finally, Gordon comes on, and so does Walcott. And we just get our own sort of luck. And I think, I forget how that play was manufactured, just because I was working too, so it's hard to look at the game. But I just saw Walcott get a header on a ball and just sort of floated in. You know, it was cool that the goal line technology worked and it could see that the goal actually happened, and we got credit for it. And just rescued a point for us, man, because at that point, I think when they scored, there was about 70 minutes left in the game, and you're just seeing the same old Everton from Wolves and Southampton, and it was like, I'm starting to get a little bit worried, and I still am a little worried. All I can hope, man, is that Carlo Ancelotti really, really knows who he needs, what he needs, that Marcel Brands is on the phone right now trying to seal these deals, so that the minute the clock strikes midnight and it's July 27th, we got a deal for some midfielder, for some guy on the right or the left, some winger that's creative, and another midfielder, and maybe a center back, you know, to keep some cover, because this whole return has not been kind to Everton. I don't want to act like the players didn't try hard. I'm never really sure how you can tell if a player's trying hard or not, just because a myriad of issues could be going on in the field, and it's just hard to say all the players aren't trying. You don't know what's going on that's making the game look like it does, and maybe they came to better day. I think they did try hard. I just think it's painfully obvious that we are limited in our ability to attack. We don't have a plethora of options, of tactical maneuvers to just threaten a team, and that's what we need if we're trying to just stay in the Premier League. I ain't talking about forget top 6, forget Europe, whatever, man. We're just trying to stay in the Premier League next season, because the teams coming up have their you know what together, and we're sort of sinking down the table. I mean, we're struggling with a more or less championship team today, so that means we're championship level. So we got to get Brands and Carlo Ancelotti got to get their act together, man. Just lucky to get a draw against Aston Villa. And it's no disrespect to Aston Villa. I don't know a whole lot about their club. I know it's a big club, but they are bottom of the table, and we are thinking we should be, at least as a competent mid-table team, you should be putting away the bottom table. We were struggling, and that's got to change. So I'm going to put it there, because I could argue about this, or not argue, but I could just go on and on like everybody else does, and this is just right after game, so emotions are running a little bit. But phew, I mean, thank you with Theo Walcott for rescuing a point. Carlo, Marcel, get to work. I can't wait for these next 2 games to be over. Up the Toffees.